Hi everyone, this is Ricky with ScrapbookPal.com. I hope you're having a great week. Today we're going to be playing with stamp sets from Pinkfresh Studios and also a couple dies. This stamp set is called Pop Out Hexagons, and we're also going to be using the matching die to go ahead and get these cut out. So the first thing I'm doing is using some VersaMark ink here, which is some embossing ink. It's sticky. And I'm making sure that I'm getting a really good impression onto the piece of paper here. I'm using my MISTI for this. It's an excellent tool for when you need to stamp continuously, in the same spot. So I'm just pressing, making sure I get some good coverage on everything. You really can't see on the white paper right now because it's clear. So I eventually do get a pretty good impression, and then we're just going to go ahead and move forward. We're going to go ahead and get some white embossing powder here, and we're just going to cover that up. And once we get that covered up, we're going to go ahead and use the heat gun and get that powder melted. Now, I did not show that on this video this time. We've seen it plenty of times, so, we'll get through it together. So I'm adding the powder onto the card here, and then I went ahead and heat set it. Now, I hate the feel of embossing powder, so that little brush comes in handy so good when you need it to take off small stuff off your desk. Next thing we're going to do is some ink blending. We're going to be using Twisted Citron from Holtz, a distress oxide, and we're also going to be using Tumbled glass. And basically we're doing a resist here. We've already used some clear or white heat embossing powder. And so anywhere that heat embossing powder is, or where it's embossed, the ink will not stay and it'll just rub off, and all you will see is the white outlines from that. I decided to use these two colors because they're bright and spring, and I just thought they were really nice. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get that finished up. And then we're going to go ahead and get this cut out. I'm putting everything away. Oh, I needed to put some more Twisted Citron on here apparently. So you never have enough. Just as long as you have colors that can blend, you can keep going and going and going. But yeah, so we finally come to an end here. And then the next thing we're going to do is wipe that down. We want the white to be white and the color to stay color. Next thing we're going to use is the matching cover plate for this. I'm going to go ahead and get that lined up. Make sure it's pretty good and lined up, and I'm going to just use some tape here to get it taped down onto, or get the paper taped onto the die. And then we're going to go ahead and get this sent through our die cutting machine. I use a Gemini Junior. I love it. It's pretty awesome, and it's electronic, and you don't have to hand crank it. I also have a hand crank too, just in case electricity goes out. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get this into the die cutting machine. And then we're going to go ahead and get that out. And what we'll do is we'll just separate the pieces from the cover plate. We're not going to use all the pieces. We're going to use about, I think it's like 6 of the pieces that fall out. And the rest I just kept for another project one day. So here we go. You see I have popped out the ones that I wanted to use. And now I'm just going to go use some art glitter glue so that I can go ahead and get this glued down to the black cardstock there. I love this ink because it has a fine tip needle on it, and it's perfect for this type of adding adhesive to these types of paper and trying to get it onto your cardstock, because it's small and you just need a little bit of glue to go in the small spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and get this laid down onto the cardstock. I'm going to move it to make sure that it's in the right spot onto the card. And this glue allows you to give a little bit of leeway. It's liquid, so you can move it a little bit before it dries. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and get these tile pieces placed onto the card here. And we're going to be using some 3D foam squares from Scrapbook Adhesives. And you can get those on the online store at ScrapbookPal.com. And we're going to go ahead and get those covered, or get those foam pieces onto the discs, and then we're going to remove the backings and go ahead and get that placed onto the card. And I decided to go with this pattern because it's simple and it's allows the black to show through, but it also allows the color. Next thing we're going to do is use some lawn fawn dye called Layered Butterflies, and we're actually only going to use one layer of this. And I'm going to go ahead and get that cut out of Nina Solar White cardstock. I believe this is 80 pound. And we're going to go ahead and get that through the die cutting machine. And then once we get that out, we will go ahead and take out all the little pieces of the butterfly. And then in the middle of this, I decided, oh, you know what? I really want a different piece here. I think it needs more than just the white. So after I was done taking out all the little pieces of the butterfly, I decided, you know what? We're just going to do a piece of vellum under this also. So I used the same die and then just grabbed a piece of vellum, which is kind of like a frosty paper, I guess you would say. And it's see-through, it looks frosty. And I'm going to go ahead and put that through the die cutting machine too. And as you'll see here in a few moments, I actually layer these together, and it kind of makes a subtle wing, I guess you would say. It just adds a little bit of oomph to the card. You know what I mean. So as I'm going to go ahead and get all the little pieces taken out of there, and then here you're going to see me go ahead and get these glued together. I'm going to use some art glitter glue here and go ahead and get that vellum piece glued down to the butterfly. And we're going to get that lined up, make sure it's straight, and we'll bend the wing back a little bit just to see, you know, how pretty it is. So there I go, I'm bending it. I'm going to put some 3M or some 3D foam squares on this also. I'm just going to cut 2 little pieces and put it on the back of the butterfly. And we need that because the tiles on the card are lifted with the same foam tape, so we need to make sure that that's lifted as well. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. This is the completed card. Thank you very much for watching this and visiting us today over on YouTube. Make sure that you go to all the social medias of ScrapbookPal.com and join them. And you can also find me by searching for Bomero Cards on all of social media as well. Also, make sure you head over to ScrapbookPal.com and check out all the great items they have for sale there. And I just wish you guys would have a great week. I know it's been a trying time for the last 5 or 6 months, but I hope these videos have been able to lift your spirits a little bit and get you through these troubling times. So thank you very much again for watching this video, ScrapbookPal.com, and you guys have a great week, and we will be back soon. Talk to you later. Bye.